Hi, I'm Eileen Roach, founder of Designs and Machine Embroidery, and I'm so excited for today. It's Jean Jacket Makeover Day. And one of our viewers, Renee Dollar, said this is the topic just at the right time. Well, you know, we kind of thought fall, it might be when we're all thinking about moving on to a denim jacket, right? Now that the weather's getting a little bit cooler. So I'm really excited, but to share with you our guest today. I'm not going to handle this topic by myself because there is a woman from Ohio who is so talented, and her embroidery skills are fabulous. So let's welcome in Joanne Banko from Let's Go Sew. She is a brother ambassador. She's a frequent guest on It's So Easy, right, Joanne? What else? Yep. And you're also the author of Wrapped in Embroidery.
Yes. When I've done lots of work with Dime, right? We've been friends for talk about between friends. We've been friends for a long time, and it's always a joy for me to spend some time with you, Eileen, and your wonderful guests here.
Same here. And it's just so great to see everybody watching, and oh my, they're from all over. So we have Ohio, Oregon, and Northern California, Lancaster, PA, love Lancaster, PA, Minnesota. Oh boy, all over. Aren't we blessed? It's so great. And I know lots of them are your followers too from Let's Go Sew. So tell us a little bit about Let's Go Sew.
Well, Let's Go Sew was born out of my desire to be able to provide as much sewing, embroidery, crafting, quilting, anything that fits in that box, inspiration as I possibly could. For many years, I taught locally, and actually I still teach a local group. So hopefully some of my friends are here. I do that once a month. I started doing quite a bit of traveling and had the privilege of teaching in other areas as well. But I wanted, to be able to set something up where I could reach everybody all the time and put a lot of information out there and a lot of basically inspiration. So I actually wanted a different website name at the time, and I was so disappointed that I didn't get it. It would have been a stupid name now. I won't even tell you what it was, but I just kept typing in new things, and Let's Go Sew came up, and it was like, boom, that was it. So,
but that, Let's Go Sew is it's appropriately named because it just oozes enthusiasm and passion for sewing. Like, come on, let's go sew.
Exactly. I like to say to people, in order to remember it, if I asked you what you wanted to do today, what would you say? Let's go sew.
Let's go sew. I know. That's awesome. That's awesome. And of course, that's letsgosew.com, right?
Letsgosew.com. Lots of tutorials. I'm always adding blog posts. There are videos posted there. And then through letsgosew.com, I send out we call it a newsletter, but I call it a love note to my friends that have subscribed every weekend. So I've got people, kind of anxious for that. Sometimes if I'm a little late, I get emails like on Sunday morning, where are you? Are you okay? So
people depend on you. They do.
I really appreciate having so many friends. It's just great to be able to keep in touch with so many people all at one time.
That's right. And so if you have any friends that, would love to learn about Jean Jacket Makeovers, send them, a link so they can watch today and join the broadcast.
Please do.
So you have a brand new product that's coming out with Dime today. This is the big reveal, and I'm wearing it and you're wearing it, right?
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
Awesome. So it's a new collection called Just Jackets by Joanne Banko. And it is downloadable. So when you purchase, you will receive a link that will enable you to download the whole collection immediately. So check your email after your purchase. If you are purchasing from Joanne, she will actually mail you this card, and inside will be a serial number that you will then use to go to a website and download the collection. But the collection is really 3 mini collections, and I'm going to show you some beautiful photography, but it also comes with your instructions. And Joanne, you are a prolific writer, and all your illustrations and photography are always spot on. You don't leave anything unanswered. You don't leave people hanging out there like, oh, well, how do I get from step 3 to 4 when it looks like there's a big hole in the middle, right?
I really love writing instructions. I'm a glutton for punishment when it comes to that. I know a lot of other designers and people that teach sewing, that's the least thing they want to do. They want to create, they want to teach.
Right.
But I love all aspects of that. But I really do enjoy writing, because I think for so many of us that learn through, we learn through so many different ways, the written word, certainly videos and all that. But when you can combine it all together, pictures and words and images and videos, it brings the whole picture into focus. And I found over the years that a lot of things don't necessarily come with really good instruction. So you're excellent at that as well. And I've certainly modeled some of my work after you, because I know you have a great way of communicating that as well.
Oh, well, thanks, Joanne. But when you run a magazine for 21 years, you better learn how to write instructions.
Well, I had a lot of practice writing for Designs and Machine Embroidery as well. So.
Right. So let's take a look at PowerPoint so we can see the mini collections. Okay, so the Just Jackets is really made up of 3 mini collections. And this is the folk art. So we'll zoom in. That's what I'm wearing right now. I love these bright colors. Oh, pardon me. So go ahead, Joanne, and tell us a little bit about your inspiration for selecting, this artwork.
Okay. Well, first of all, I am beyond excited to introduce this collection, because it's really a dream that I've had for a long time. You and I happened to, have a conversation a while back, and I was talking about it, and you said, hey, let's do it. So I was so happy to be able to partner with Designs and Machine Embroidery and able to produce this. But for me personally, I love embroidering on garments. I love creating garments from scratch, but I also, like all of us embroidery enthusiasts, love getting a good blank and taking it from blah to beautiful, right? Isn't that what we do? So I had envisioned, jean jackets in particular, although, we'll talk a little bit, these designs would be appropriate for many, 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 many different projects. But in particular, jean jackets are always one of my favorite things to embroider on. One of the very first projects I ever did was a jean jacket. It actually happened to be a Designs and Machine Embroidery designs way back when. But they seem to me like a jean jacket screams, embellish me. I need something. So, in looking for designs, I never really found very many that were appropriate for jean jackets. I would try to find from the mix of what was built in the machine or what was available. And, I might find something that would fit on the, front yoke, but then I didn't have anything for the back and I didn't have anything for the center. So I really, did a lot of searching to find designs that would give you something for virtually every area of that jacket that you want to embellish. The back yoke, the center back, the center back is a perfect place for something on a jean jacket. But if you don't have another coordinate with it, to me, it looks a little lonely. And if you've ever seen something, plopped, and we all have, somewhere without anything to tie it all together, it, like I said, it looks a little lonely. So by finding these designs, the folk art, I just hearts, anything heart shaped kind of floats my boat. I love heart shaped things. And I thought it would be fun to have a combination like that in the center back, and then have matching florals and leaves and just different elements that could be used all over that jacket. Exactly. And you'll see in a few minutes, there's lots of elements in lots of different sizes. So yes, this is certainly a mix and match collection.
Right. It is a mix and match collection. But, as an embroidery designer, we often think about the artwork, about the beautiful flowers or whatever it may be. But really, it's about filling spaces. And jackets are made of vertical spaces, horizontal spaces, narrow bands, pointy collars.
Yeah.
And, you know, that has to be taken into consideration as a designer. And you have really nailed it in this one, I have to tell you.
Well, like I said, I really wanted to create a collection that would fit all those spaces. And I have never, I personally have never seen anything that fit that niche. So by working with Dime, we were able to produce something that I think is going to be really, really, really special for a lot of people that want to do the decoration.
Yeah. Okay. So then another one that's really dear is the rose collection. Yeah. Oh my.
Who doesn't love roses, right?
Yes.
And, you know, here again, there you probably could find a lot of embroidered rose designs out there, but I haven't found many that would, again, tie together a scheme like that and work in all those spaces. And, you know, some of the rose designs that are out there, they're okay. But, you know, when you can do it with applique, which is what we're featuring here, and we've got mixed designs. So we've got designs that are embroidery only, and we've got designs that are applique as well. But when you can mix that, now you can really bring something to life, because that background fabric, which is your applique, creates another whole new dimension. So I'm loving the comments here that others love roses. You know, how can you not love a beautiful rose?
Right.
And they come.
And Roxanna McVeigh says she loves the cups. You know I love cup embroidery too, right? Because, well, I do a lot of demoing work, so it's really nice to have embroidery designs on my cups, because often you're only seeing my hands and maybe the cup. And so I like that also. I also think it's a really elegant touch to a garment, you know, in everyday wear. Anybody can do center, front, chest, but, you know, having something on the cuff just kind of elevates it a little bit, don't you think?
Oh, absolutely. In fact, just a little tip there, the cuff that you have on, that one, when I stitched that sample, the sleeves were a little long on me. So I turned up the cuff and I actually embroidered on the opposite side of the cuff, because that's how I'm always going to wear it. So isn't that another great thing about being able to embroider and embellish your own clothing? You know, you could never go to the store and say, you know, I'd like to get this shirt, but I'd like the cuff done the opposite way.
Right.
You know?
Right.
You can customize.
Yeah, exactly. I love that. That's, you know, that's a tip for you short people like Joanne and I. Lots of things I buy. The sleeves are like hanging way out there. So I've known to cut them up and put, whatever. Lots of different
I've done
things.
that too.
Yeah. And let's see, Edward likes to make the flannel shirt and then put designs on it, especially in the back yoke. These would absolutely work on flannel shirts. So, but on this rose, I love the heraldry scroll work that you have behind that large applique rose in the center back. That really elegant. Love that.
Well, I thought that was really fun. And that actual scroll, turn around and maybe you can see it on my back there. It comes in a smaller size as well. So you could put that on the front yoke, or, you know, in any other area, or you could put multiples of those on. So again, you know, you're the designer, you decide where it should go.
So we do have a question from Laura. I'm not going to try to say that. Sidlowski, maybe, who knows? Is the stitch density different on denim? Well, could be, but these are applique designs, mainly applique designs. And what you really have to be concerned about on denim is the needle type that you would use. So what needle did you use? Do you use?
Well, for most of the jackets that I've done so far, I use the Dime light ballpoint needle. Because most of the jackets, and this is very, very common out there these days in our ready to wear, they actually have Lycra in them, or spandex. So look at your, I mean, you can tell if it stretches, you know, it's basically like embroidering a t-shirt.
Yeah.
So
not as lightweight, but it does have stretch.
Exactly. And if you're using, you know, a regular denim, like, you know, you'd have in a, I would call old fashioned denim, but denim that it's still around, then you could use a sharp needle for sure.
For sure. And then one of our viewers wants to know what size hoop. So I can't find her comment now, but let's talk about that.
Okay.
And we can, if you would just bear with us, because we're actually going to go and look at the collection individually in software just quickly. We're not going to do a whole software lesson, but then you can get a better grip on the size of the embroidery designs. But just know that she kept everyone in mind. And if you have a 5x7, you are good to go, right? Okay, so let's
Absolutely.
see the third collection, which I have to say is a huge hit here in the Dallas office because, you know, if you didn't stitch it with red, it would look like a Dallas Cowboys jacket.
I didn't think of that when I did it, but I love star shapes. I just, I love heart shapes. I love star shapes. And I just thought, that would be another really great collection. It's something that is popular year round. We certainly enjoy it for certain holidays or certain teams,
Yeah.
might like that. But that's another one that could be done in a multiple of different colors. So if you wanted to create more of a, kind of a rustic theme or a country theme, you could use,
Or jewel tones.
exactly. You could use
Yeah, for sure.
anything you want. So
Yes, and most certainly doesn't have to
multiple
be on
colors.
white. You know, stars are, it's very versatile, absolutely versatile. So how about if we go over to software and take a look at the collection? Here we go.
And let me mention one thing just on that, on the stars one. I'll grab something here real quick here. That is where I really enjoyed using the Dime Exquisite metallic threads.
Yeah, that's the King Star
Because
metallic.
King Star metallic, yes,
Yeah.
exactly. These are just so beautiful, and when you want that extra pop of sheen and shine, reach for those. They come in so many different colors. So these are the exact threads that I used on that particular
Awesome.
jacket.
And they go a long way, don't they?
Oh my, yes. I'm going to
Yeah.
enjoy every inch of that thread.
Right. So because I already have Dime software installed on my computer and a new one specifically, which is our Patch and Applique Maker software, when I installed the Joanne Banko collection, I opted to install it into that software program. Now you don't have to do that. You can just install it onto your computer and you'll have access to those embroidery designs. But I just thought I would show you what it looks like here in this library. And you can see the top row is all the folk art collection. And so that's the combinations that Joanne has already put together for you. And many of them will take a larger hoop. Like let's take that center back. And you can see that is 6 inch. So that's going to be like in an 8.5, an 8-inch hoop or a 6x10 hoop.
Right.
But hang on, because there's other things to learn. And then here's our rose collection, all these roses, and then finally the stars. But you'll notice over here in the library, I can collect on parts. And now I can select each of these elements and build my own layout. I could make that heart that you have on the folk art jacket much larger. I could expand the stars and stripes. I could just sprinkle individual leaves wherever I want them. And they're beautiful, Joanne. They're just beautiful.
The collection is loaded. I mean, there are so many options and opportunities for creativity in that collection.
There sure is.
You will
Yeah.
not find a bored moment amongst yourself.
Right. And so here we have like the center back panel. This is going to load on top. So let me just pull this away and get rid of the other. Go into 3D so that you can see. So there's that heraldry work. Oh my gosh, is that beautiful? Now this version is not applique. This is embroidery. So I'm going to move this out of the way and go back and retrieve the other version of that. And you'll see now this offering is applique. And I'll zoom in a little bit so you can get a better look at that. So on the left, we have, those beautiful satin stitches make up the rose, as we're on the right, those beautiful, that pink that you see there is actually fabric, applique fabric that you will add. And you'll notice, you have blue leaves. So clearly that's not intended, right? You would select your fabric that you want. But, and if you have software and you like to play with software, you can ungroup that design. And then if you want to access, just the heraldry work, you can do that. I just locked it. There we go. You can pull that aside. You could stitch that behind the folk art heart if you wanted, all kinds of options. all kinds of options.
Software expands your possibilities
Mhm.
just immensely because you are no longer limited to just even what your machine can do. I mean, if you have a machine that doesn't have, all the latest bells and whistles, I really recommend, adding software, because software will increase that. And even if you upgrade your machine later on, the software will still work with you, and you still got lots of potential there.
Absolutely. And, you can play in software and not have to worry about, ruining anything. You can undo and redo and undo and save
Yeah.
as under a new name and never harm anything that you've been working on. I live in the software.
Preview, just being able to preview that,
Right.
and see what it's going to look like, and see
Yeah.
different color combinations.
And, Joanne's going to come back in a month, and we're going to talk all about hooping jackets. And then in the next month, we'll do some software work so you can learn most certainly how I work on embroidery designs like this. I always photograph the blank and I load that image into the software, and then I debut my embroidery designs on it, size them appropriately so they fit exactly in that yoke area. And as you do this and you measure garments that you purchase, you'll learn that no two pocket is the same. The pocket flap on the right and the pocket flap on the left are not necessarily the same size, right?
That is really, really important to know. Really important, because you can't stress too much over that. You're not in control once it's made. So just do your best and do whatever level it out to whatever your eye is going to be focused on for the most part.
Right.
So.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
All right. I'm just going to grab a seat here really quick. I've been standing all day, so let me just get a little
stool.
Yeah.
Okay, good. Good deal.
All right. Sorry
for
All right.
Yeah. Okay. So what about fabrics? Oh, well, let's talk about the blanks that are behind you.
Okay. Sure thing. Blanks,
now that you sat down, right?
Come in lots and lots and lots of shapes, sizes. One of the great things about blanks is you can try it on beforehand. And again, unlike, sewing from scratch, which I still love to do, you can decide whether you want it or not, or you can change the size, whatever. So again, jean jackets come in so many different colors. That is one of the wonderful things about them. You'll find them in a lot of different colors and a lot of different styles, cropped, longer, different things. But, certainly regular, ordinary denim shirts work well too. And whether or not you have a yoke there, that's not a problem. In fact, hopefully I'll have a sample for you when the next time we meet. One of my favorite little tricks is if I do have a shirt that doesn't have a yoke, I'll go ahead and embroider that area on the blank. And then I'll add trim or decorative stitching right along that spot where you would normally have a yoke seam, and it kind of fools the eye. So I've done that on lots of different things. But again, we can't beat good old denim blue. Goes with everything. I was doing some research recently on jean jackets, and apparently they've been out now for about 140 years, and they are designated as a true classic. If you do some Google searching fashion wise, you'll see them worn with just about everything. Anything from jeans, of course, to dress pants and shorts and dresses. The sky's the limit. So, here again, just another, I happen to be kind of in the denim theme today, but certainly these things can be added to other garments. Quilted garments would be great. I've got some ideas for doing some quilted vests and quilted jackets. The main thing when you look for the blank, I would say, find something that you're happy with the fit, because that's going to be the main thing first of all. And then once you have got that, then you can play around with designs, templates, fabrics, and customize that. So
absolutely,
pick your favorite colors as well. So that's the other great advantage. If you like to wear red, then find something red and do those roses in in white or purple, you know, make up
Right.
your own combination.
Right, but if you're going to invest, you know, your time and fabrics and threads and so forth into a garment, you make sure it fits. Make sure it's one that you really love. You know, I often hear people, you know, oh, I can cover something up that's a flaw on a garment. Yeah, well, yes, you can, but sometimes in your mind you always think, that, you know, that garment's not really what I had hoped it was. So why invest time into it? So anyway, that's my theory.
And
I never embroider anything that I don't like to wear.
Absolutely. And consider thrift shopping too, because that's another area where you'll find a lot of, you know, outgrown items that, you know, denim. That's the other great thing about denim. I mean, I'm not focused just strictly on denim, but it's just one of those things that the more it gets washed and the more it gets worn, the better it looks. So, you know, so some of that distressed look, people pay a lot of money for that distressed look.
For sure. Yeah. Well, Retha Ranke says that she would like to do a matching motif from the jacket on a pair of jeans. So that's a great idea.
That would be beautiful.
Yeah.
Absolutely beautiful.
Yeah. And then Diana Mullins Atkinson says that the stars would be perfect in your teen school colors. I like that. That's a great idea.
Yeah, great idea.
Sure.
I love to see the comments and all the different ideas that everybody here comes up with. So
yeah, that's awesome. Okay, so and then Retha she told us in the beginning of the show that she was using King Star at that moment and stitching on organza. She'd never tried that combination before. And I don't think I have either. But anyway, 10 minutes in to the machine project and no King Star breaks.
Yep. King Star's king. King
Star is king.
King of the metallic threads out there.
Yeah, for sure. Love the King Star. I mean, you know, here we are at holiday. We're going to be doing a lot of, you know, glittery stitching, right?
I'm glad Lorraine likes the designs. I think everybody will really, really enjoy them.
Yeah,
for sure.
Absolutely. Okay, so let's talk about the fabrics, applique fabrics.
All right. You know what? I'm going to just switch my camera so I can show a few things that are on my table here. So
let
me do that. I've got another camera lined up here. Okay, so you should be seeing what I've got here on my table, all filled with stuff. So let's talk about what I used first of all on the jacket itself. I used what I would call no motif batiks, and those are batiks that don't have like a shape stamped into them. I don't know how many of you are batik fans out there. I don't know. That's one of my favorite quilting fabrics because they're so versatile. And having the no motif batiks just means that they've got, you know, they're dyed with some shading, and that can add a lot of realism to a design like the roses. And even if you're using it for some of the other designs, it's kind of like, you know, having something that has a little bit of shading built into it by having those batiks. So I have a whole collection here of different colors, and, you know, you can buy small amounts. It's the other great thing about applique. You don't need much fabric. You'll find yourself using some little itty bitty pieces at times. So that works out really, really well. We, us sewing enthusiasts, we don't believe in wasting anything or throwing any of our scraps away, right?
Right. But those batiks, you know, you're right. That kind of tone on tone, that color wash adds such depth to applique.
Yeah. And even this one, now this one would be what would be considered a more traditional batik because it's got the stamped motif on it, but it's not prominent enough that it's going to, you know, detract from the actual design that you're stitching. So that, you know, that will work as well. Then you can get fancy if you want to. So there's a lot of, you know, silkies and satins out there that are available. I love to shop in the bridal wear department where you find all of the different, you know, fancy fabrics these days, and you'll find a lot of coordinates. So, now I've got the idea to add organza even on top of this to add a little bit of sheen and sparkle. So you could even, you know, layer something like that. But these fabrics are readily available and come in lots and lots of different colors. You might find that some of these stretch as well. Believe it or not, this is a stretch satin. So I've got a recommendation for stretchy fabrics. Let me show you my next one here. This one is actually what I call Pante Velvet, which is such a pretty fabric, and this would make gorgeous roses. But again, it's actually a knit, so it stretches. So in that case, I would prep that fabric with a fusible, lightweight interfacing beforehand. I prefer the fusible tricot style interfacings because they're very soft, they're very flexible. They don't change the character of the fabric, but they do add body and they will prevent stretch. So this particular type of tricot interfacing stretches in one direction but doesn't stretch in the opposite. So I counteract the stretch of the fabric with the non-stretch direction of the interfacing. And look at that. I've got a beautiful, stable piece of what looks like velvet, but it's just inexpensive, Pante velvet knit that I can use for that type of thing as well. So that makes it fun to switch around with different fabrics. And kind of while we're talking about fabrics, let me just talk about testing, because I'm a big fan of testing designs. We can talk about that. You can buy, again, thrift store items and do your testing on there. But a lot of times I will buy inexpensive craft felt, and I will then test different combinations on there. So I've got an idea to do a rose with kind of a cloisonne effect. And by using gold thread where you would normally have, matching thread to the fabric, that just makes it stand out and almost gives it the look of special jewelry.
Beautiful, Joanne. Shirley Scott wanted to know about the facing. So we use Fuso Soft here at Dime, and that's a tricot knit interfacing that would work in this application, Shirley.
Yes, that would work wonderful. That would work wonderful.
And so many people are saying how much they love the batik. But Patty Wilson also says she likes a matte thread on denim. And I agree. I mean, when you look at any denim that you purchase, the top stitching is always a matte thread. Well, here at Dime, we have matte thread that we have named Vintage because, it kind of gives you an old school look. It comes in 2 weights, 40 weight and 15 weight. And we do have that kind of copper color that Levi uses in all of their jeans, top stitching and so forth. But, other colors too. There's 3 colorways. It's very inexpensive. It's a polyester, so it's nice and strong.
That would really be beautiful. And, just another whole thing on that whole idea. I'm thinking about the Kingstar metallic threads again. I know you have a coppery color in that too. And, there's, again, when you're the designer, there's no reason why you can't make roses in copper colors and, and gold and silver. And you could do a lot of really, really fun things.
Absolutely. Beautiful collection.
The other thing I was going to show you as far as prepping the fabric, and this I can actually show on this camera, is by using a fusible. Fuse Me is the Dime product that makes all of your applique pieces permanently adhere to your fabric. So I love this product. It's again, it doesn't change the character of the fabric, so I can put it on this lightweight cotton, and then when I iron it on from the paper side, the shiny side is actually the glue side. And that then will stick to my fabric. And now I have a fusible piece of fabric that feels essentially the same way it did before I added the fusible. So you're not adding extra stiffness and extra bulk to your project. And then I just cut my pieces out for the applique work after I've applied that. And when I'm all done, I take an iron, give it a good press, and it's never going to move on you. So it's a great way, especially when you're working with some of these more tricky fabrics and fancy fabrics that tend to ravel a little bit. We want something we can wash and wear and not worry about. Wash, wear, no worry. That's my style of garment. So by being able to, fuse that in place, we don't have any concerns with that.
For sure. It's important to, set yourself up for success by prepping the fabrics properly. That way, you won't have any surprises during the embroidery process, and you'll be pleasantly surprised at how well the garment will wear and launder.
Exactly.
Yeah.
I'm loving all the comments that are coming through.
Yeah.
So I think we've given everybody a lot of different things that they're going to want to try and play around with and experiment with this
I
collection.
know. So fun. Yeah. Really fun. So as far as stabilizers for the actual jackets, I know you really liked using your sticky hoop.
I did, but I
Mhm.
also, again, because, fabric always dictates what you need. You have that great compass that Deborah
Deborah
created
Jones,
for
yeah.
Denim. Yeah, where it gives you the combination. And anytime I have a stretch fabric, I want to use a cutaway. So one of my favorite go-to all-time, use it every day, can't get enough of it, cutaway stabilizers
Yeah,
is the fusible no-show,
right.
because this will work with both knits and wovens.
Yeah.
Again, if I've got stretch factor, I want to counteract that stretch. You want no movement when that needle's going popping around all those places to make that beautiful design. You don't want that fabric to move on you. So this will counteract that because it's fusible. And what I love about this is that it fuses, but the first time you fuse it to adhere to your fabric, it doesn't have to be a real strong bond. You can do just a light fuse so that it sticks to your fabric. You can do your embroidery in the sticky hoop, which we'll talk about in a minute. And then when you're done, you can trim the excess away. I like to trim mine with pinking shears, and then give it another good press, and then it will adhere to the fabric. The other thing that I love about the no-show mesh is that I will often use it as a substitute for a heavier cutaway. The heavier cutaways, again, they're a little bit bulky, they're a little bit stiffer. Sometimes you need it, but in garments, a lot of times we want to maintain that, that soft feel that we're comfortable with. So I have a little trick that I do. I'll fuse 2 layers of this. So I'll fuse one down against the fabric, and then I'll fuse a second layer against the first layer of fusible, obviously with the fusible side down. And it just gives me kind of almost a mid-weight cutaway without having too much bulk there. So that's one of my
Nice.
favorite things to do.
Yeah. Lou DeMott says that he or she always launders their denim like they will be doing after the project is finished because it eliminates shrinking. And that is good advice, right?
Very good advice. In fact, I should have mentioned that when we were talking about blanks, especially with denim, but almost anything these days that's cotton or brightly colored, I would like to do the wash test. And I will actually do that even with my batiks, because I don't want to take the chance of having that bleed at all once I'm finished with that garment. So yeah, definitely do that first. And remember, when you do that though, never use fabric softener. So never use fabric softener when you're going to do embroidery on fabric, because it will create a layer of a film there that could cause problems with skip stitches or cause your stabilizer not to bond.
Okay. And then we have Susanna Bowman, who previously had said that she just purchased 2 or 3 men's like 2X denim shirts, and that she's planning on deconstructing and reconstructing into a garment for her. But now she's added that, oh, by the way, those shirts were $1 at a garage sale and they've never been worn. They're brand new.
Oh, good for her. That's great.
Yeah.
That's great.
That's a find for sure. Good job, Susanna. And then John Seastone wants to know, would patch attach be too heavy for these appliques? Yes, it probably would. I wouldn't suggest using patch attach. I would reserve that for its main function, which is patches. So yeah, the fuse so soft. I mean, the fuse me it's really delicate and light. We don't want to change the hand. That's what's so nice about that.
It's a very thin fusible, so it's nice when you don't want to have that extra weight.
Right.
For sure.
And then Catherine Dunlap wants to know, is the Fuse Me repositioning, is it tacky? It is not, but we have another product, and I can never remember the name.
You sure do. In fact, I was looking that up because that would be another great use for applique, especially with the tinier pieces.
Yes, I wish Deborah Jones was here in this room, but she's not.
And
but
I should know it too, because I made a list the other day of all my favorites, and that definitely is one of them on there. So that works really, really well, so that you can have double-sided sticky. It'll stick to the fabric.
Yeah.
And then it'll also stick to the garment. So if you want to keep that in place.
Right. And you can reposition, which is so nice, you know.
Exactly.
Right. If you're planning and playing. So anyway, good deal.
One of our friends out there is probably already using it, and they probably will remember the name and type it in for us.
Right. For sure. And I guess I could, I could look it up, but who knows what would happen if I actually went to the website to do that. I'm always scared technology-wise. Oh, here's Deborah Jones. Look who's in the house. Come on over here, Deborah.
I get to say hi.
Come on over here. Hi,
Hello.
Deborah.
Hello, my friend. I miss
Joanne.
you.
Nice to see you.
It's been a long time.
Yeah.
So we're just talking about, Fuse Me, which Joanne loves. But then, but someone was asking about, is it tacky? And so we do have another product. What is it?
We have a product called Fuse and Stick that's
Fuse and
tacky
Stick.
on one side and fusible on the other.
Yes. So that's the product, Fuse and Stick.
Yeah.
So
Okay.
thank you.
You bet.
Thank you, Deborah. It's very similar to the Fuse Me, all except that this side then would be sticky now. So when you put it down, and like you said, it's repositionable sticky. So it's not permanent until you again take that iron and give it a good press. So
Stephanie Hardy said she heard our questions. Yes, she did. Her office is just down the hall here, and she has an office here every day, but I'm lucky she's here today.
Well, thank you. Thank you for that.
Yeah. And then one of our viewers wants to know, Colleen Emmerich wants to know, will stabilizers shrink at all? That she's pre-washed items and have had puckering after washed again.
That's a good question. Yeah, it can happen. If you want to really be, sure, it depends on how hot your iron is, how much steam you're using. But if you do that, you could pre-steam your stabilizer. Just give it don't touch it, but just hover over it with some good steam. And if there is some shrinkage, it will shrink up.
Also, sometimes you may have to snip the stabilizer between embroidery elements to relax the fabric. And I find that usually covers all the problems, really.
Right.
And, because, like our soft and sheer is no-show mesh it's a nylon product. And so nylon doesn't really shrink,
Yeah, I didn't have any issues with it whatsoever.
Yeah.
There are some other stabilizer options though. So, keep that in mind. I mean, again, your exquisite line from Dime, you have everything from,
we do.
Every layer, every level that you could possibly need.
Right.
If you're working on a garment that doesn't have stretch factor, and you're certainly going to find some garments like that, then very often what I will use is an iron-on tearaway, because that, again, I love having my stabilizer bonded to the fabric. Sometimes we'll do that with temporary sticky spray, but if I've got a bonding agent already built into the stabilizer, and you have that with the Fuse Me, and then you also have that with your iron-on tearaway product. That just, what it does is it again keeps that fabric from moving, even though it's not stretching. It just keeps it from, if you've got a bias direction or anything going on. But it also adds just a little bit more body. So it'd be almost similar to starching. And sometimes we resort to that with some of our embroidery, where we'll spray it with starch to stiffen it up. But that iron-on tearaway works really, really good for that. And you're, sometimes I'll just use a layer of regular tearaway. The softer, I like the thinner, the lighter weight one that I can hoop when I'm using a traditional hoop.
And basting your fabric to the stabilizer is a great tip. I mean, it's really wise to do that first.
Absolutely.
Machines often have that built in. And, you press that button and apply that basting, and it'll stitch a box around the perimeter of the design. And, now that the garment is firmly held in place to the stabilizer. And
we do have a tutorial that's going along with this collection that will give a lot of tips and show how to use the 5x7 hoop. And I believe in those instructions, I believe I actually put that as a tip that if you have basting ability, you can add that. If I didn't put it in, I'm telling everybody now, but that's a really good thing to do, especially if you have double layers. Now, the jacket I'm wearing only has a single layer on the front yoke. I think it has a double layer on the back yoke. So, you know, in order to keep that from shifting, by basting that down, that actually secures those two layers together that are just, you know, floating.
Right, because, you know, no matter what stabilizer you use, when you have two layers, your top layer is absolutely shifting. And in fact, I used to teach when you're going to do pocket embroidery, like on the back pocket of blue jeans, that you fuse the pocket closed before you do the embroidery so that it now acts as one layer of fabric. Otherwise, you know, if you're doing the letter E on the back of a, you know, blue jean pant pocket, patch pocket, by the time it gets down to the bottom of that E, the fabric is definitely going to be shifted and you'll have a bulge. Well, okay, so you'll have a bulge underneath.
A bubble sometimes,
Bubble. You know, lots of pants have bulges. That's a whole nother topic. So we're not talking Spanx today, right? Okay.
So back to the whole idea of stabilizers, though, and hooping. Again, I'll just refer to that tutorial. I do show you how to hoop in my favorite. I mean, I really and truly, I don't know how I embroidered for so many years without this new sticky hoop, because it is nothing short of amazing, and it is absolutely perfect for this type of project, many garments, many things where what I call, you know, awkward hooping, where you can't really get it easily into a regular hoop. Although I do show how to get it into a regular.
Yeah, she does. So for those of you who just have a standard hoop, she shows you how to hoop that sticky stabilizer and how to align, you know, all that. You really did a really nice job on those instructions.
Well, we all know that, you know, sometimes this is on our wish list, and, you know, hopefully we'll get it soon, but until we do, we need to find other ways in order to
For sure.
So I show how to do that as well. But with the idea of stabilizing, remember, you want to stabilize as per your fabric before you put it in then the sticky hoop. So do you have a sticky hoop there already?
I do.
Set up?
I do have a sticky hoop here.
Okay, maybe you could show that and we can just talk about that for a minute, because once you have stabilized, then now your sticky hoop is really basically functioning as a hooping aid, or a hooping friend, or a hooping helper, because you still want to have your stabilizer done to match your fabric with whatever needs that you have.
Right. And so if I were going to put, you know, the jacket back, I most certainly, first thing I would do is pull these sleeves inside out so I can keep an eye on the sleeve. So if that's up above the garment, then I know where that sleeve is, right? And that's very important. And, you know, when Joanne comes on again, we're going to talk all about how you would center this on that sticky hoop, making sure that your alignment in the center back is parallel and square to the hoop itself. So when you come back in November, we're going to do that, and we'll work with Target paper templates, and we'll work with perfect alignment laser, and
exactly. We've got a lot more information that we can show, but what that hoop is doing for you is it's holding everything securely in place. And here's the biggie that it was really kind of the light bulb moment for me, is it's keeping everything perfectly flat. When we hoop in a traditional hoop, you know, the inner ring and the outer ring have to go together, and it creates just a little bit of a lift to the fabric. And this comes so close to the actual bed of the machine that it keeps everything really much flatter. And I think you get a better stitch quality even when your fabric is, you know, closer to the bed of the machine. The other thing that I found through using this was that when we do applique, and we'll show this more in the next show, but when you do applique, you're going to, in all likelihood, be trimming the fabric as you go. this fabric, I mean, this hoop rather, is so firm and so stable that I was able to slide it out of the hoop holder on the machine, slide it forward. And because it's so sturdy and so flat, it almost created like a table effect, so that when I had to do the trimming with my little curved tip scissors, it kept everything really smooth and really firm. So,
And fast.
you know, I want one of these in every single size, because this
Right.
can be one of
Well,
those.
we have them now in every single size. But Carolyn Hover also wants to know, will a magnetic hoop work as well? And it sure will. I use Snap Hoop Monster for most of my denim jackets. You can't do it. It's sometimes, you know, you have to use the flat sticky because you can't get the garment flat enough, like up at the yoke, near the shoulders, that kind of thing. But on a jacket back, in the center back, yes, I could definitely use a Snap Hoop Monster.
And I have definitely done jean jackets with the dime magnetic hoop for sure.
Yeah, that's great. That's cool. So shall we take a look at our small town charms?
Oh, absolutely. We can't forget those.
Yeah. So let's go ahead and take a look at PowerPoint. But first, I want to share with you the special pricing on the collection. This is the brand new collection. So the introductory price is $49.99. And remember, when you purchase, it's downloadable. So you will receive it immediately. You know, after you check out on the shopping cart, you will receive a confirmation email with the link on how to go download the embroidery designs, and just follow the instructions. If your mail service has a folder for spam, you may want to check your spam folder to see if that email went to your spam folder. But if you communicate with us on a normal basis, it probably will not. But you'll be able to make a jacket tonight. Wouldn't that be fun, Joanne?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah, and those instructions, you know, are going to be included in that download. All of the embroidery designs, like we said, I believe there are 50 embroidery designs in the collection. Let me see, it's right here. I could read it. Yeah, there's 34 appliques and then 16 what we call charms. So the charms are the tiny little accent pieces that really embellish, you know, like these here on the sleeve. As you can see, that's what we call a charm. Little accent embroidery designs. Now, these aren't applique because they're just too small. But
we've got those for cuffs, collars,
yeah,
and in between the buttons as well.
Nice.
So
really nice.
You
yeah,
can
so
all over.
You've got it covered. You have really got it covered. It's awesome. It's awesome. So let's see. So take advantage of that. It's on sale this week. And of course, there's free shipping because there is no shipping, right? Okay, so let's take a look at the small town charms. As you know, we are in October. All year long, we've been doing this, and you are still welcome to download these embroidery designs if you haven't already done it. January was the quilt shop. February was the sweet shop, the bakery. March brought us a dress shop. April, I couldn't wait till May for the blooms. We had to do a flower shop in April, but in May, we did the outdoor cafe. Many of these designs are 1, 2, or 3 hoopings. Like the May outdoor cafe is actually 3 hoopings. You get the first story, the second story, and that awning, which is kind of a 3D embroidery design. It's really fun to stitch. And then June was the town hall. July was home of the giant ice cream cone scoops. August was a gazebo. Now you'll notice they have some embellishment, but some are quite plain. And the whole idea is that you download these embroidery designs and then you make them yours. You add your own designs from your own library stash, or maybe you follow along one of our good friends, Sue Brown, over at OML Embroidery. She does a sew along the first Saturday following the reveal of the new small town charm, and that's the last Thursday of every month. September was the book nook, and October was a haunted house. So if you do participate, we encourage you to take a photograph of your finished small town charm and post it on social media, either Instagram or Facebook, and use the hashtag dime sew along. And then we'll go find it, just like we have this time. So here are your small town charms. Marjorie Salisbury Hirschberger, this is her September book nook. Now, if you remember from my image, I just had the books in the store. I didn't have that really fun embroidery design with the bookworm on top of the books on the door. And she's added a stack of books and a chair to the front and a puppy, and also a lamppost, which is just lovely. But she also jumped right into October. And look at that, Joanne. Didn't she do a great job?
My. She just,
I know.
oh, the fabrics on those pumpkins are amazing.
I know. I think they're fussy cut. That's what I'm guessing. So here's a close-up of that. I think they're fussy cut pumpkins. And I love how she placed them in the foreground.
Oh,
just beautiful.
Perfect.
She also did that witch's cauldron there on the right. Oh, how fun. And she's got some tombstones and also trick or treat on the house. She added a spider with a kind of a green blob. Maybe it's the spider himself. Bats in the sky and some kind of gnarly trees, right?
It's like one of those I Spy things.
Yeah. And then on the second story, she had even more fun. She has that skull head with a top hat on top of the weather vane, a ghost, a spider web, some more ghost out on the sky, and then she added the moon. I'm going to call it a moon, but I guess it's a sun with the witch flying right across it. Really well done. Isn't that amazing?
Marjorie piped in. She said, yes, they are fussy cut. So
okay, good to know. Good to know. Yeah, just awesome. Okay, so let's see who's next. Renaud Paulson. You know, her work we've watched through the year, 2 years actually, and it's just so impressive. It's always very well executed. Excellent selection of colors. I think this is the first haunted house that I've seen with a different color roof on the second, you know, on the tower on the left. Beautiful. Instead of pumpkins, she put buttons in the foreground and tied them off with kind of a heavy strand of maybe twine, something like that. And doesn't that add such an interesting element to the small town charm? Yes. And her fabric, it's not just plain black. It has kind of a striped, a mini stripe, a vertical stripe. And even her rooftop is kind of a scallop tiled roof. Very well done. And cool witch, very cool moon with a spider hanging from it with googly eyes. And I think they're crystals in the sky, not just embroidered stars. How sweet.
Inventive, very inventive.
I know, so much talent. Okay, here we have The Dry Bones Gym by Cherry Caraway. And she's got all of her skeletons are working out. They're, you know, kind of like doing the YMCA, right? Isn't that awesome? Yeah, it's really great. Fun color, bright purple, bright yellow sky, moon, and just awesome. I love all your touches that you've done there, Sherry. Very nice.
Look at that background fabric. How perfect.
Yeah. Spooky. Right?
Stormy looks like even.
Yeah, very stormy, very stormy. And here we have Diana Wheeler Thompson. Talk about stormy. Look at this night sky.
Wow. That makes
thunder and lightning happen.
Yeah, exactly.
Mm-hmm. So she went the scarecrow. Oh, goodness.
Scarecrow.
Thank you, route. Isn't that fun?
Yeah.
He's a friendly scarecrow. I like that. With all that hauntedness. And what a cool ghost. I mean, it's really kind of realistic. It even has hands and, you know, an emotion on his face. Very cool. Very cool. Well, we just love the small town charms and we love to see what other people are stitching. So please share your small town charms using the hashtag #DimeSewAlong. And I hope you'll join me next week. It's going to be all about metallic threads. Woohoo! Can't wait.
All right.
And then Joanne, you're going to be back. When is it? November 19th?
I think it's November 18th.
18th? That Thursday?
Yeah, that's a Thursday.
Okay.
Check the calendar there.
Yep, it's the 18th.
Okay.
Good deal.
Looking
Awesome.
forward to it. We'll give some
Yeah.
more, some real nitty gritty tips for hooping, placement, things that you can use
Yeah.
certainly with the jean jacket collection and with many other of your embroidery designs as well. So
Awesome. Well, thank you for joining me today. It's always such a pleasure to have you here, Joanne.
thank you for having me. Thank you for everyone for being here. It's been a pleasure. Happy sewing.
Take care. Thank you, everyone.